Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast, where I, Adam Upper, talk with Braydon Cuddy about Batman the animated series. And this week's episode is a special one because we have a special guest with us to do Prophecy of Doom. We have Rivers Langley from Good from the Woods. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. I'm wondering how you gentlemen are holding up after one of we had a terrible assassination this week of the leader of Canada. Drake has fallen. Just wondering, if everybody's good after he got murked by a man from Los Angeles.
You mean
I know,
before or after we threw the parade?
uh, yeah, we haven't had like a good rap beef in a while that I've heard really. So like I guess it's we're about to and yeah, I think it's somebody friggin' sent me the link that somebody like his bodyguard like outside his house like got shot or some shit.
The first gun crime in Canada in years. You're welcome. No,
Your
I
check is in the mail.
the last big I remember was, of course, Eminem and Machine Gun Kelly, and famously, Machine Gun Kelly lost so badly he had to change genres. He became a pop punk artist. So I'm hoping my wildest dream is that Drake moves to Nashville and puts out a country record because he can't do rap anymore.
Oh, right, one can only hope.
Get
Yeah,
the nudie suit ready.
yeah. Maybe Beyonce paid the way for him to go to country and just stay there. Maybe.
I mean, hey, gotta do something.
Yeah. Darius Rucker started it way back, and then Beyonce like ushered in and be like, "Oh yeah, don't forget." So maybe we'll, yeah, Drake will follow after this.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and he doesn't have to change anything because the area code for Nashville is 615, so he could still be the sixth god. He just has to, not be that sixth god.
There you go.
Yeah,
You can carry the branding with him.
yeah, absolutely.
This episode is Prophecy of Doom. It was the 19th episode produced, but it was a 22nd episode aired, which means it aired October 6th, 1992. Do you remember what you were doing October 6th, 1992, Rivers?
Let's see. I would have been 6 years old, and probably, honestly, probably watching this live. Like I was well into my Batman phase at this point
Yeah.
because
Okay, yeah.
it went in my recollection it was Ninja Turtles, and
Yeah.
then sometime around 1990 it switched over to Batman. I assume, it was probably around the time I saw the Tim Burton film, and of course the show was huge. It was a primetime show here, and for a while, and then it switched. I don't know at what point. You guys probably know better than me at what point it switched over to a true like Saturday morning cartoon. But yeah, I mean, in my recollection, I think I watched every one of these in the first season as they were happening. I was a huge Batman guy, and then of course, summer of 1993, unfortunately, Batman by a Tyrannosaurus Rex, because that's when Jurassic Park came out, and I was on to my next thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was right in the pocket of like my biggest era as a Batman guy.
But
Okay, yeah,
Batman
because
clearly killed that T-Rex because he mounted it in his Batcave.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
yeah, he loaned out the animatronic to Steven Spielberg so he can use it for a bit and just took it back. He's like, yeah, just bring it back when you're done.
yeah. Yeah. Also, yeah, I looked this up. This is the day, October 6th, 1992. This is the day End of the Road by Boys to Men came out. So there you
No
go.
way.
Set the scene.
It, what was did they have like a famous song off that album or was that like a single?
That's the song. That's like the
Oh, it's
song
a
you
song?
play
Okay.
when the song you play, obviously I think it's about the end of a relationship, but that's like
Oh,
a
okay. Yeah,
go
so,
it's like a go to funeral jam. I actually played it this week on the podcast talking about how they killed the Panera lemonade.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
down
it's like
here.
probably one of
Oh,
those
I
songs
saw
that I've
that.
heard a billion times,
Yeah,
but didn't actually know the title of it.
yeah, they killed the lemonade that
Yeah,
kills you, and so
yeah,
I
the Panera Bread.
yeah,
Yeah.
so on the show I played a little bit of Into the Road, so I thought that was a little bit of weird synchronicity.
That's awesome.
Yeah, yeah. The one Panera Bread that I was aware of was like in Dundas Square in Toronto, and like it closed up like a few years ago. So like once you got started talking about the church lemonade, I was wishing it was still there to see if I could have gone there just to grab one, but it wasn't there anymore. And then
I was
once
gonna
I think
say,
the next closest one was like for
did they let
I think
y'all have the real deal, the charged
I
lemonade? Because I
I don't know
thought
like
the
I the last time I was there was like probably like 4 or 5 years ago, so so I wasn't aware of it being a thing at that point. So and then by the time I was aware of it, like the one that was close by was closed up because I think they might have closed up most, if not all, in Canada. I think, or just a good chunk of them. I think so.
yeah, I know they cap energy drinks in Canada at 150
Yeah.
milligrams of caffeine, and with a 32-ounce Panera charged lemonade sitting right around 500 milligrams.
Holy crap.
Yeah, so yeah,
And
so I
I
was kind of wondering, yeah, if it's gonna be
yeah
there, yeah, because I'm a big coffee guy, so I'm like, if I can cut out like 3 or 4 coffees and just have one lemonade, I'll do that instead. But fortunately, I couldn't try it. Unfortunately, I couldn't try it once I was over, so I was like shaking my fist.
yeah yeah yeah. Speaking of which, here's two gentlemen.
Cheers.
Um,
Well, so what's the ungodly concoction this time, Rivers?
this is an oxy shred,
Oxy
a
shred.
peach rings, peach candy flavor.
Oh, peach.
They've dispensed with the notion of having any sort of natural taste, so they're just like, ah, it's the candy. You know what it is.
Yeah,
Drink it.
yeah, like the peach, like the peach fuzzes or whatever,
Yeah,
or
it's
whatever
like
the fuck they're
fuzzy
called.
peach in a liquid.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that fuzzy peach. Yeah, if I can mix it up. Yeah, I
I
haven't
love
had one of
that
those
crap,
in
man.
years. Yeah.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. We've talked about OxyShred on the show before, and this will tie in because all of these guys are grifters that own these type of companies. OxyShred was the guy who fled a military junta in Fiji, arrived in Australia.
oh, that guy. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, and then he
yeah.
got diagnosed with I think it was ulcerative colitis, and he told God that if he lives, he would fulfill his dream of starting an energy drink company. So here's
Well,
that guy.
when God calls you to something, I guess you listen.
That's my favorite. It's my favorite that it's that was the thing. It wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna help humanity or
Cure
dedicate
cancer.
myself to yeah exactly. It's like no, I want to fucking get guys and gyms going.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
this you mentioned the grifters in this episode. Dude, I thought that this was going to be like Batman versus a doomsday cult. No, this is Batman versus a wannabe Mysterio.
Well, Batman briefly, or I guess Bruce Wayne briefly joins the cult, which was cool. Incognito, of course.
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, this is obviously I don't have any recollection of this episode, but I'm positive I watched it at some point, and I did enjoy how they actually I don't know if we're just jumping in or if you guys got a format.
Yeah,
Um, but I enjoyed how they actually gave Bruce some screen time on this one.
yeah, because usually it would have been like Batman, like it was Bruce figuring out what it was, and then like Batman coming in and busting in at like midway through their ceremony or whatever. Yeah, but instead it was actually like Bruce like the entire time because I think the only time you really see Batman is like when he's like in the cave near the beginning. I think, right?
Yeah,
You
well, and
definitely
then
see more
also
Bruce than Batman here.
Yeah,
well, and then you see Bruce is in the elevator and then escapes as Batman, which leads to the question: where's he keeping this suit?
well, they did say that was his like personal elevator, so I imagine that's probably like halfway what it's for, so they can go into the elevator and be like, "Hey, I'm going up to my elevator at my or my office at the top of the building or whatever," and like get say probably has like in the top or whatever, he switches out and just kind of batarangs out or whatever sort of thing. So I imagine that's probably there already. So
I want to see
Imagine
the
the
guy who
elevator technician like opening one of these panels. I mean, like, is bat suit?
This isn't sanity. What's in here? Like, oh, what the fuck? Oh, that's how he shows up everywhere. He just has one of these everywhere instead of just thinking that Bruce Wayne is him.
Well, that's yeah, like you said, the plot device is that somebody's fixing the elevator right now. It's like Batman should fix his own elevator. I feel like
And
Yeah,
Batman
no,
has the perfect alibi. He can just say the elevator guy is Batman.
yeah, there we go.
I always go, yeah, I bring it up when we got to it, but now, but like that should have been like if he didn't know, like I'm actually say, hey, the elevator's broken, get an elevator guy. Like he didn't send out for the guys. Like yeah, that should have been like set off some like alarm bells for him, saying like, hey, that's something's probably going to be up with the elevator.
I'm
Because
gonna
like you
take the
said, like
stairs.
it wasn't like a regular elevator. It's his own. The person specifically said like your personal elevator. So that's like his. Obviously, it's like Bruce Wayne, like president of the company. And so like obviously he's going to know if there's something wrong with his elevator. And
Yeah,
also being Batman, like the world's greatest detective, you'd be like, hey, I didn't send out for this guy. What's going on?
right.
But he just no, but no, he just like jumps. Is like, okay, I'm just jumping in, and then obviously, he has the ability to get out as Batman. But still, that should have set off a couple, a couple alarm bells. But yeah, we start off like on a casino boat with like which music that like almost starts off like reminded me of like the music from The Mask, where he's at the
Oh
nightclub and
yeah.
like and then he like Cameron Diaz is up there and he comes out and starts dancing with her
Yeah, it's
like
a
the drums at the beginning because that was fresh in my mind because I actually saw that last week at Imagine Cinemas here in Toronto. Like it's a theater that does like $5 movies for like a week, and it happened to be like the movie of the week. So I was like, "Fuck it, I'll go," because I haven't seen it in years.
yeah, it's kind
So
of
that was
a rumba almost.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So
no,
it's
it's one of the things that I always appreciated. I guess I didn't always appreciate, but as an adult, have appreciated about going back and watching this show. It's not something that you would necessarily register unless you were an extremely nerdy child, but just how dedicated they are to the like 1920s Art Deco aesthetic of
hmm
everything, like down to like
yeah.
the switches on the elevator and the music choice of the cars and everything like that. So I think that's I guess they kind of got that from the Tim Burton film of that idea of like, oh, what if what if Art Deco never went away? What if there? I
hmm
don't know what world they supposedly live in where that was allowed to stand for that long. Maybe World War II didn't happen in the Batman universe, but yeah, I always thought that I think that is kind of a cool aspect of the show.
Now, when they commit, man, they commit.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, so it's made me think though, just with a casino boat though, does like Gotham City like outlaw like casinos on land, or do you just think it was like more of just like the upper scale, like they're rich folk of Gotham being like, hey, let's have this floating casino just for us, and so we can party on it just be for us, sort of thing, or was it just more
I
of a
don't think it's I don't think it's supposed to be in Gotham because they say later when he's talking to Carl, the rich guy, what was his last name? Yeah, or no, Ethan Clark. When he's talking to him, he says it's like a 3-day voyage. So they're
oh okay,
way the fuck out at sea.
oh okay,
Yeah, it's
okay, I
international
guess I
waters.
okay like okay
Yeah,
that makes more sense. Okay, so I
yeah,
was
yeah.
good.
It's a yeah. You want to pay to see a guy fucking an alligator? Money boat.
You gotta go 7 miles out.
It's
Yeah,
Gotham. There's at least 10 guys who would.
right.
Yeah, I just thought of
Well,
this scene as like Batman meets Titanic. Like, well, ironic enough because the ship sinks. But I thought that before I saw the bomb on board. Just picture like Batman like in the Kate Winslet scene, but he's like, Selena, draw me like one of your French girls. Except
Yeah,
he's wearing just the mask. No, leave it
yeah.
off.
Well, and interestingly, there is a Titanic like conspiracy theory that
Oh, are you talking about the gold standard thing?
yeah, exactly. Like
Yeah, I've heard this.
it was like blown up by Bolsheviks or something as a way to clean the palate of all the rich people in the Western Hemisphere or something.
Oh man, I
there's always
love the crazy like things that like I that's the thing is like I love crazy conspiracy theories, but if there's any conspiracy theories that I will lean in towards maybe considering true, it's the ones that are tied with money. And that,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Well, there's only one conspiracy, and it's always the same, and it's just that rich people cut corners to make profit at the expense of human lives. That's usually what it is. Whenever you're looking at anything, that's usually what it goes back to. Like Panera being a great example. It's like, they've got a lemonade that's killing people, but we'll let it run for a little bit and then we'll phase it out, as they're saying, because it's the dawn of a new kind of era.
oh,
It
that
is.
was good.
There's
No,
only
that's
two.
literally set up. That's the actual branding.
No way.
That's in every store right now. It says it's the dawn of a new Panera. It's like, just forget that we killed all those people.
It was only two people.
Yeah,
Two.
yeah, it was only two.
Maybe Panera's the ones that killed the Boeing whistleblowers. We're like, we'll put all the heat on them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I loved in this scene with the boat sinking. Like I made the Titanic joke there, but like there's no ship's crew on this. Did you guys notice that? It's all just the rich people jumping in the lifeboats.
What did they know? And when did they know it?
And nobody drowns. But the thing that I found funny, and I mentioned this to Adam before he came on, Rivers. So like spoiler alert, this is all like obviously a bomb is going to be pushed by someone there, but this was all about money in the end. Why would you not just like rob the casino and then sink it, remove all evidence? Because like that money in a casino on a ship is now sinking at the bottom of the ocean. Like there's billions of dollars there.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, you
If
should rob the ship first and then blow it
and,
up.
Exactly.
and it'll be insured, so it's not like whoever owns the money or the ship or whatever will fucking lose. So it'll take a little while to fucking take care of that, and that'll be fine. So
Sure enough. Yeah, so that guy, as you mentioned, Ethan Clark was his name, the rich
yeah,
guy.
yeah, Ethan Clark.
Yeah,
Yeah, he's meeting up with Bruce and he's just talking at the restaurant with his daughter Lisa and going like, like Nostromos, he's like a genius. He told me not to go on that ship and look what happened. And Bruce is like, yeah, yeah, it was psychic mumbo jumbo, whatever. And even his daughter's like, Dad, like you're trusting like financial advice from Madame Cleo. Like this is not yeah, this is a crazy idea that he's trying to convince Bruce to, drink the Kool-Aid. And the funny thing that I took away with this, like, it just cements my theory that just because people are rich in this day and age does not mean they're intelligent.
yeah. And also, I should say that Lisa is voiced by Heather Locklear. Just
Yeah, yeah, I
No
was gonna bring
way.
that up here. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, dude. So we're like a year out from Melrose Place. We've already had the Dynasty reunion. She's hitting her stride at this moment. So big get.
There is a God. Heather be thy name.
Yeah. And also, Nostromos, the villain, is voiced by Michael DeBar from the band Power Station. I found out.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
I'm
he
not sure.
obviously.
Not sure if I'm familiar with that band. So
Have you ever heard of a little movie called Commando? Because he did the theme song "We Fight for Love." No, there's a
Commando.
incredible sentence that really should. This is from Michael DeBar's Wikipedia. It really should just say cocaine, 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 cocaine. But it says uh, DeBar's friendship with actor Don Johnson led to the band's guest appearance on an episode of the television drama Miami Vice. Similarly, his friendship with producer Joel Silver led to the Power Station writing a song called "We Fight for Love" for the Arnold Schwarzenegger action film Commando. I was like, oh, this guy was just, I mean, Don Johnson and Joel Silver. Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. So he does coke. He parties.
Well, we now know what
Commando.
that station was powered by.
Fuck yeah.
Commando
Well,
is
well,
that's the one with like Alyssa Milano as a daughter, right? I
yes.
think.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
Power Station was Robert Palmer's band originally. And then he left to do his, solo career. And then Michael DeBar stepped in for Robert Palmer. And I don't, obviously, I don't think he rose to the same success levels, but he did have that one song on the Commando soundtrack.
Good on. Yeah, I'm not 100% if I've actually seen that Commando all the way through. So I may need to
What?
actually like do it.
Oh, let's
Yeah,
all right.
because it'd be like
Podcast is over.
or at least like a one go because I think it's like just like with like Predator. I think it was one of like those movies that was like on TV all the time. So I'd probably like seen it like in total, but just like not like front to back, like in one shot, probably caught in like a
Adam, if you
decent
have
maybe. But
not seen that final fight scene, I am
yeah,
gluing you to the couch.
yeah, yeah. I think that part. I think that part I know at least. So I'm
Okay,
not
good.
sure if I'm not sure if it's seen it like in the movie or if it's just like because like similarly like for the longest time I had thought I had seen like Big Trouble in Little China, and then like 7 or 8 years ago I actually put it on and I was like, oh, I actually haven't seen this. It was just seen like the same like 5 or 6 clips and just remember seeing that for years and maybe actually think I had seen it because I had remembered like those like probably same 5 or 6 clips were like ingrained in my brain so much I just thought I had actually seen it, but I
Yeah,
had not.
well, we that film has some amazing one-liners, much like Lucas, the thug guy, tells Batman, he's like, "I'm going to send you into orbit" or whatever. It's not entirely unlike that. With hey Bennett, blow off some steam, and then he shoves the guy through a steam pipe, and it just starts shooting out of his lungs. Fucking rad. My favorite thing about
Oh,
that movie, and actually, again, I can tie it into this episode too, is that
please.
I've often talked about the premise, and it's not necessarily present in this episode, but whenever you see like the main bad guy of a film, usually has uh, three goons that the hero has to face, and I always refer to them as the mind, body, and soul goons.
Mhm.
So one goon will be a threat physically, so that's the body goon. The mind goon obviously is like trying to outsmart him, and then of course the soul goon is trying to have sex with him. And uh, and we've kind of got a combo of the body and soul goon in Commando in the form of Bennett, who is like the heavy and has just a boiling sexual tension with Arnold Schwarzenegger during their
Oh
final
yeah.
fight scene, where they are just baby. I mean, there's so much baby oil. I would say at least a gallon of baby oil was used just to grease those two guys down for that scene. But and it's literally steamy and they're oh god. I mean, there's a knife scene where he's trying to literally penetrate him with a knife. It's all there. But um, it's similar because the whole thing with Bennett, it's like fighting Arnold Schwarzenegger in his prime in like 85 or whenever that movie came
Yeah.
out. Bennett does not have any definition in his arms. He's wearing a sleeveless chainmail tank top, if I recall.
Yeah.
And so he looks kind of like Right Said Fred meets WCW's Scott Steiner, Freakzilla era. But he has no, I mean, he's in better shape than I am for sure, but it's like I couldn't credibly fight Arnold Schwarzenegger either. And in this episode, Lucas is kind of kicking Batman's ass, and he's just
I noted
like
that too.
he's a special effects guy, like they say it. He's like, oh yeah, he worked in special effects, and he went to jail for fraud. And I'm like, I live in Los Angeles. I know a few guys who work in special effects. I don't think any of them could get a one hit on a theoretical Batman situation.
I don't think the VFX guys are going to the stuntman saying, "Come at me, bro."
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't see Kyle being a big fighter really. For being as big as he is.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. Kyle would have a better chance than Lucas, I think.
I'm almost Kyle's size. Being big just works out because people just usually think you're scary, and you actually, unless you actually know how to fight, yeah, doesn't really work out in
Yeah,
your favor most of the time.
yeah. But yeah, to your audience, look for that next time you watch an action movie: mind, body, and soul goons. It's one of my weird theories that I think holds up. It's like, yeah, gotta Watch your back for the body goon. Watch your head for the mind goon. Watch your cornhole for the soul goon, brother.
Or just
Oh,
pull like a Connery or a Bond and just like fuck them first.
Yeah. There you go.
yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, so Ethan's daughter is not even bothering to segue this. I don't know how you do that. Ethan's daughter is talking to Bruce and telling him about the Nostromos guy, and he's like, "Okay, maybe I'll check this out." He goes to this meeting that Ethan's having with all the other cult members. So, how would you guys describe Nostromos when we first meet him?
So I think he's definitely meant to be kind of a takeoff on Anton LaVey, at least
Hmm.
in the way he looks, because he's got the robe with like the all seeing eye and all that stuff, and he's bald, but he's got a wig on, kind of a
Hmm.
thing. So I think visually he's supposed to look like Anton LaVey. Um, but as far as that sort of archetype goes, that was a real thing. It's Los Angeles in particular. We are lousy with cults, especially in the 1920s, especially in this kind of era that they're showing. Like we've got the teachings of Madame Blavatsky kind of leaked out into the American West Coast in a really big way. And so I think it's meant to be kind of a play on that, but they're dressing him up like the founder of the Church of Satan.
Yeah, I just had to Adam before we were getting ready for this. I'm like, if you haven't already, watch Manos Hands of Fate, especially the Rift Track or the Mystery Science Theater one, because like this guy looks like the master from that movie, except he has no Torgo, which I was very disappointed in. Give me Torgo or give me death.
Yeah, I like to. I wrote down some of his quotes. He says, "We are but radios for the cosmic transmitter. Tune your receivers. Hear the inner voice." Uh, so I think that's like it's obviously an amalgamation of a bunch of different guys, but uh,
Yeah.
you know,
Somebody saying that with that facial hair should be immediately suspect, I think.
yeah, and the eyeliner.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, I remember
Although,
yeah,
that
yeah,
too.
yeah.
although if
That
you notice, mugshot, because his real name is Carl Fowler. In his mugshot, he also has the eyeliner in his
yeah,
in his previous career as a petty thief. So it might be a Ray Liotta situation where he just looks like he has eyeliner on at all times, whether he does or not.
yeah.
Or
He
the
just
mayor from
definitely.
Gotham City in the Dark Knight movies, that guy from Lost. It's like
Oh
the
yeah,
running joke that he's always got eyeliner on. It's like, no, these are my eyes, guy.
yeah. Dark
Yeah,
lids,
yeah,
man. Dark lids
yeah,
are a
yeah,
real thing.
yeah. And yeah, it definitely has the Chancellor Gowron from Star Trek Eyes as well. He's always has like his eyes like open up and staring.
I wrote down
Like
this guy reminds me a lot of also Jeremy Irons from that crappy Dungeons and Dragons movie. Just wearing the
Ooh,
robes and like overacting.
is that the Marlon Wayans one, or is that the
Yep.
one that just came out?
no, yeah, it was like the initial one, yeah, like the bad one. Yeah, I think
Oh,
I might
okay,
have seen I think I might have seen that one in the theater. I think when it came out way back when.
What's his name in
gotcha.
that? Like Profion or something? I just remember,
I
give me every ounce of your rage.
I don't know. I think that was like
Oh,
I think that was like the last time I saw that movie was when it first came out.
man,
Because
yeah,
because of
I'm
how
a
bad
big
it
fan
was.
of just letting. I've never seen that movie, but I'm positive Jeremy Irons is great in it because there's
Really?
Oh,
nothing.
he's amazing.
That's the thing is like Irons knows the movie is a piece of shit. He turns it up to 11 because
Yeah,
he's like,
yeah,
well, if nothing else, I'm gonna be really entertaining in this, in
yeah,
whatever piece of shit he's
yeah.
in. So
I'm gonna be the thing that people remind us to like distract from the rest of the movie being shitty.
Rivers,
totally.
you are not prepared.
Yeah, I'll have to give it a watch. But
Actually, I might suggest that for another like a Patreon movie if you can find this
okay, yeah,
find shit.
I'll
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you're gonna
actually.
friggin' love it.
yeah, we'll I'll have you guys on and we'll do it.
All right, sounds good.
I love networking.
Yeah, all
Yeah,
I know
so
about that movie is I've seen this the extremely bad CGI. That's the one thing I'm aware of in that film.
oh yeah. And for like 90s CGI, it's still pretty freaking bad.
Is it 90s? I think it's like post
I
like
want to say
a
like
Phantom Menace, isn't it?
yeah, I'd say like I would say like yeah, I would say like 99 to 2001 probably, I think
Oh
in
my
that era.
gosh.
Yeah, you're
I
right. It's
think
2000. It's
oh yeah,
2000.
yeah,
So we're
yeah.
so
So I'm
they
fairly
could
certain
have
I probably saw this. Yeah, I'm
they could
almost
have made
certain.
it
Yeah, I probably saw. Yeah, a lot better. Could be
better.
a lot better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the meeting though, when they're having this little kind of ritual, I guess, of him like looking into the future. He kind of does what's the fortune teller teacher from Harry Potter, Madame Trelawney. He goes like, one of you is going to die, and that's you, and points at Bruce Wayne. And that's when his like drink shatters, and Bruce gives him this look like, I don't like the look of you, pal. But I think he's just pissed off because he ruined his drink.
That's what I was going to say. It appears that the impetus for Batman to begin investigating this guy is because he's mad that he couldn't figure out a magic trick. Like, it's like he went like if Bruce Wayne went to see David Copperfield and was like he didn't actually make the Statue of Liberty disappear. I have to get to the bottom of this. Like that is kind of how it appeared because he made a glass shatter in his hands. But no, the thing I wrote down the most, and really, this was the thing that kind of if I have a complaint about this episode, it's this. Uh, I think it's Ethan says the vibrations are right for prophecy, and
like
that
what
that hit
vibrations?
home. That absolutely hit home for me, just because my areas of interest when it comes to looking into history things. Anybody who's heard the podcast knows this. I am never against rich people getting their money stolen from them, and
Yeah.
I think you're
and
in good company here.
like you know what I mean. And this is one of those things where I was just like, I guess it's because he's a rich guy, and he, at the end of the day, Batman is, and this is the big thing that modern Batman have had to reconcile is like Batman is not a class traitor in any way. He beats up. I mean, this is a hack point at this point, but it's like, yeah, he beats up like poor mental patients essentially, and so this sort of this is not a thing anybody was talking about in the 90s. Heavens, we're weeks away from Bill Clinton being elected president, and we're entering a new era of whatever dog shit neoliberalism. But so nobody's thinking along these lines at this point, I don't think. But it is a thing where you're just like, he kind of is dick riding for rich people in this episode, where I'm just like, let it happen. They're gonna be fine. This guy's
Look at
taking,
that.
at the end of the day, he's taking $300 million from all of the richest people in Gotham. You're like, that's not that much. Let him have it. If he can get one over on you, you're gonna be fine. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah.
let Nostromos get away with it.
Well, even the whole con that Nostromos was going on with this whole, because he prophesizes later on, like about a great economic fall, and
Yes.
all these rich people are pooling their money into his like hands so that they can, be able to sustain the economic fallout. I'm like, this guy's lived through the 1980s. He it from chaos.
Well, and furthermore, as far as that goes, when he's at the end, he's got Ethan, has got his daughter held hostage, and he's going to kill her if he doesn't sign the paper to turn the money into gold bullion. If we're following the kayfabe of the story that he's telling about this, great fall, you should do that anyway because fiat currency would be worthless. So turning it into gold bullion is actually a great idea that this guy shouldn't resist at all. You wouldn't even need to kidnap the daughter. You could just sit him down and be like, look, the money is going to be worthless. So we are actually going to need to turn it into gold, sign the fucking paper. And then you don't have to kidnap anybody and you can keep the con going.
Yep.
So yeah, just maybe think what is this guy fucking like Goldfinger from James Bond and turn it into bullion.
Yeah, well, but I mean, you're thinking about something that would outlast, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
funny because all of the prominent like right wing like conspiracy guys like Alex Jones, they all sell gold, and they all say
Mm,
that there's going to be a giant fall of the economy. Like this is an old scam, like because the whole thing with gold is that the value doesn't go up that much, so the profit margin that you stand to make by turning money into gold is a lot, because if you sell it at a higher value, it's not like gold is pretty damn steady in terms of what it's going to be. But you're like, this guy should this guy actually doesn't have to do anything nefarious. If he's already got these people on the hook with this story, then he doesn't actually have to kill anybody. He could just keep this going in perpetuity forever. And my proof of that is everything that I know about America.
yeah. I mean, what? There's like an economic recession like every 10 years or something. And it's like
Yeah,
this
yeah,
guy's saying about like an economic fall. It's like, no shit, Sherlock.
right, right. And at the end of the day, we fetishize rich people in this country, even though they are demonstrably the stupidest people that we have. So I have no problem with this. That's the thing. It's like you got to make the
Well,
audience root for Batman, and in this case, I'm like, actually, let him take $300 million from these idiots.
what in the Elon Musk are you talking about?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like I don't fucking care. If the
Uh,
problem I have with Elon Musk is that he is absolutely swindling people who are just don't have that much money, but they're like, oh, I'll give him $8 a month, or I'll work my max out my credit card and ruin my financial future for a fucking cyber truck. Like, I do have an issue with that. But if Elon Musk was just stealing from Bill Gates and a bunch of other rich morons, who cares? This affects my life not at all.
Yeah, then they get to laugh at him when he's forced to buy Twitter for like 44 billion or whatever it is, and you're like, "Yeah, that's what you get for being an idiot or whatever."
Yeah, there
Don't
you
you
go.
mean
That's a
X, Adam?
yeah, that's a perfect example where a bunch of rich guys swindled another rich guy into buying a thing he didn't actually want. So
Yeah,
If
yeah,
this episode
yeah.
is anything in moral messaging, it's that rich people are stupid, have way too much time on their hands, and way too much money to piss away.
yeah. Well, I mean, like as recently as the Reagan administration, which at this point was what, it had
Okay.
been 4 years since Reagan was there. Nancy
Yeah.
Reagan had a spiritualist on staff at the White House. Like, she
Oh
had
my
one of
God.
these guys to like read the fucking stars to figure out whether or not they should, you
Uh,
know, do more genocide in Nicaragua or in, Iran. Like
What
it
the
was,
crap?
and so like these, this level of society, like once you reach, because there's the old adage where it's like money can't buy happiness, and I think that's true on some level, but what it does buy is just complacency, and it makes your brain soft, like it turns your brain into creamy skippy peanut butter. And people like
and that
this who are
and nice and smooth.
determined, right? And there's obviously kind of I guess one of the other sort of tropes or whatever that they're pulling on for this particular character is somebody like Rasputin, who was able to just enter the Russian royal family and wield an insane amount of influence over stupid rich people. So it's again, it's one of those things where you're like, I don't want Batman to win this one.
Well, I saved your life, but I lost your money. We're both.
Yeah, who can? And it's not $300 million. That's the thing. How many people were in that room at the first meeting? Those are supposed to be like the rich people of Gotham or whatever. The fucking, was I don't know if anyway. How many people are in that room? Now divide that by 300 million on average.
Yeah,
You're like,
yeah,
that's
yeah. Because
eh,
I think he says like he put in 10 mil just to keep up the look or whatever. So it was going to at least each one of them put in 10 mil, so it's at least 30. But I don't think there's
yeah,
30 people in that room. But also like
yes,
next time you see, but next time you see Nostromos, you see it's like, okay, we got another 86 million, so he's got at least 386. But even then, yeah, that doesn't you think you'd be
right.
getting more
Even
from them?
even adjusted for inflation for 1992, that's not that crazy.
No, no, no,
To any listeners out there, I've been like shaking my head for like the past 3 minutes straight listening to all this math.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I think I said in like an earlier episode that like I think at this point he was still like a millionaire with an M instead of a billionaire, because I think it
Mhm.
was like more
yeah,
in like the 2000s they switched that, because I think yeah, bringing up Bill Gates, I don't think like even he was like a billionaire at this point in the early 90s.
He was waiting for
yeah.
the
I
Reaganomics to kick in.
yeah, I still don't care. This is it's not as glaring as this, but this is what they refer to as the Bane slash Killmonger problem, where you're like, actually, I 100% agree with the bad guy.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a single moment of Dark Knight Rises or of Black Panther where I don't 100% agree with the bad guy.
Yeah, if you're rich and stupid enough to fall for a trick like this, and like, yeah, it was worth
Good.
that like
Yeah.
that 10 mil or that 10 or 20 million or whatever. Like he didn't deserve that money to begin with.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So when they got to the Bat computer and Batman's like, telling Alfred all about the stuff with the Stromos and stuff. Yeah. Rivers is like waving his hands and like kind of like a magic arms kind of waving
And
I
around.
like that
I
was Hutton Peck.
I need to see Batman doing Mavis Beacon teaches typing. I want to see
Yes.
Batman in a typing class where he's just like just the most aggressive hunt and peck fucking typing ever. Also, take off your gloves to type.
It's true, he never does.
And no, he never does. That's why the buttons are so fucking big. I'm like, Batman, if you just took a one glove off, even you could probably have a little more dexterity around your keyboard, and you would need a child pretend play school keyboard.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're in the Batcave. You don't need to worry about leaving fingerprints, so you can take them off and type.
Yeah.
Right.
So when they're looking at the police records on these guys, yeah, he sees that Nostromos is really this actor named Carl Fowler, and as you mentioned, he's got the eyeliner on even then. And
Hell yeah.
Lucas, I love how it's just Lucas. He has no last name. Like this
Yeah,
guy.
yeah.
Aliases are also Gary and Eric. Like,
Eh,
but the thing that I was like, okay, this is the biggest hindrance to this episode because, like, I mean, we're having a good time talking about like the hilarity of how kind of stupid both like the financial plan of all this and these characters. But this is, I think, where the episode really shoots itself in the foot. They tell the audience what the guy's like methodology of how he's doing these magic tricks before the first act's even done. Like even Scooby Doo writers know you don't do that. Like you leave
yeah,
some room for mystery. And it's like you just spelled out the whole mystery right to the audience before the
yeah.
first commercial break.
Batman just comes out and he's like, "Well, it was obviously a sonic ray. That's how they did it." The teller didn't actually catch a bullet in his mouth. Okay, Pin.
He didn't?
Yeah, like it is such guy who's mad at a magic trick energy, and I love it.
Like I know he's the world's greatest detective, but they'll have their moment, is all I'm saying. Like I've had this recurring idea of like what would it be like if you watched a movie with Batman and he's like calling the plot twists like before they happen, like before the credits are even done.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
guess
so
his it's because his parents were killed after a movie, right? So he's
oh
very very
true.
he doesn't like smoke and mirrors that comes off that silver screen there, and he doesn't fuck with magicians at all.
Oh, I can't enjoy a movie, nobody will.
Yeah, he just runs into the he's the guy who runs into the bookstore and goes, Dumbledore dies.
Love that. There's Horcrux.
Or like
So
Homer
yeah,
Simpson
they get
coming out of the
to Wayne
theater, like
Enterprises and Bruce is going into, yeah, as you mentioned, his personal elevator. Yeah, that guy mentions that it had just been worked on, and he's like, I didn't know it needed any work done. And that's where Lucas is up on the top, and he's okay. So first he pours acid on the cables, then to add it to it, he throws a wrench into the gears, like a literal wrench, like not a
yeah,
metaphor.
it wasn't the other way around. He threw the wrench in, then when it stopped, he put the acid in so that
Oh, maybe it was the other way around. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, because because the elevator would be moving and yeah, trying to put it on. Yeah, so I think he put
If
the
you're putting
yeah, but
acid
it
on the cable, what do you need the wrench for?
You need
well yeah
it to
because it
stop. You need it to stop in between floors so he can't get out.
Yeah.
oh,
Sorry,
Yeah.
just applying
yeah.
cold logic to that. But yeah, that's why you wanted the elevator to
Logic in a
stop. So
cartoon, that's just crazy talk.
Yeah, that's not
yeah,
at all what we do here.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think
and
they
then
do
it
the same
cuts
thing
to
in the film Speed.
yeah, it cuts to yeah, as you were mentioning, like Lucas and Batman like tussling on the rooftop, and yeah, like Lucas is kicking Batman's ass, man.
I forgot they had that other fight. Yeah, he does it twice because
Yeah,
the final fight is one of the most hilarious things ever.
yeah.
And I was going to say in that second fight, like Lucas actually has some good like karate form where he does that kick, but yeah, Batman, like, being the better martial artist, he gets out of the way and gets his
Well,
foot caught, and that's where he pushes the thing.
well,
So,
if we could,
but the,
I was gonna say if we could skip ahead to that final fight, it's the funniest shit because Batman's like, "I'm gonna shine some light on the situation" or whatever. He turns on these giant spotlights, and then it doesn't. Not only does it not help him, it actually fucks him up worse because he's now blinded by it too. And you're like, "You did this to yourself, Batman."
yeah, and his whole thing is being like in the dark and stuff because that just like points out his costume and stuff because.
Right, darkness is your ally, right? Why are you turning lights on? Can't you just beat the shit out of this guy from a shadow?
I need everyone else to see me kicking his
He
ass.
committed to the
Yeah,
pun, and the pun was his undoing.
yeah. I am vengeance. I am the very well lit knight.
This is the other thing that makes me laugh. Okay, so obviously Nostromos wanted his prediction to come true that Bruce was going to die, but Bruce is undoubtedly like the most well-known millionaire in Gotham City, right? So wouldn't killing him bring like a lot more unwanted attention on your doorstep, like investigations that you wouldn't want people to come out for?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's like, oh, I'm gonna, yeah, I'm gonna kill the president. That's my plan, and then I'll be able to
and,
continue my criminal career.
and nobody would look into it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it does kind of fit with his character though, because like as we I think have touched on, this guy loves attention. He's like a performer 101, just like, like he levitates for absolutely no reason, like just to like because he can. Like he's just
Yeah,
clearly
yeah,
just looking for anybody to look at him. Like there's no such thing as bad publicity.
yeah. Well, and also like, I don't know. I don't think they say what Lisa's job is, but if we are to understand she's just some regular civilian person. At the beginning of the episode, she says, "Call me crazy, but sometimes I think the reason his predictions come true is because he makes them happen." So it's like if just some random person whose dad is getting scammed can see this, I don't know. It's funny watching it now in 2024 because it does have all of the hallmarks of my dad won't stop falling for Nigerian prince email scams where like the kids are like, "This is my inheritance. Stop responding to scammers."
But you brought her the daughter up, and I was going to mention that like I like the fact even being in like 1992, they actually gave her some like agency, and she was the one other than Batman that was actually knew that this whole thing was a fucking scam. Because I said like even at the beginning, she was like, "Hey, maybe I think he's doing it." Which even like when I saw the bomb, I was thinking that too, because I'm not 100% if I saw this episode in the initial airing. So like I was thinking like he's probably doing it. Then turns out he did, and turned out like she was right as well. And then like through the entire episode, she's like, "This is a fucking scam." And then when she sees Bruce there later on, she's like, "Oh, Bruce, how can you do this?" But obviously, yeah, he was just doing it just to get it on the inside. But to her, it looked like she was actually falling for it. So I'm actually glad that it was actually they gave her that instead of just being like the daughter and just being like, "Oh, dad, just do the thing again."
Yeah. Well, she's like I said, she's worried about the inheritance.
Oh yeah, yeah,
She's
I suppose,
As
yeah.
she's
she
self
should be.
interested at some point. Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's like my oh god, my dad went full QAnon and he's now giving all of his money to.
Oh, this
Uh,
guy's a hundred
oh, he
percent a
did.
QAnon follower.
Yeah, I think he told you one day at this point. You told me a total Trump guy at this point. I think, yeah, giving up to
Yeah,
all his money.
yeah. Which
Lisa, have you
again,
heard
it's
about
like
this thing called Pizzagate?
yeah, yeah, 100%. Oh, did you know JFK Jr. is actually still alive? We got to go to Dallas.
Yeah, maybe his brain got eaten by a worm as well.
Oh
Just
my
like
Yeah.
god, yeah. Yeah. And then he killed the worm with mercury. Amazing.
Oh man.
Hello, Bass and Mercury. Never failed me once. So yeah,
uh
Bruce takes opportunity to kind of act like, oh, this like scared the life out of me, knowing that I was nearly killed. So goes with Ethan to talk to Nostromos and say like, no, I'm a believer, and gets to join the Brotherhood. And of course, Nostromos is happy to accept him because he's thinking of all the groupies that Bruce is going to be bringing to the cult next week.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But the funny thing is, so like how much did it say that Bruce donated to the pot,
uh,
like all the
uh,
billionaires are trusting
uh,
in?
yeah, 10 million.
Ten
Yeah,
million.
10
Bruce
million.
donated,
And Alfred's
yeah,
just
to
like, what the crap? But if Bruce was smart, he could have done the David Zaslav method and just wrote it off as a tax write-off.
Yeah, yeah, there we go.
yeah, because even yeah, Alfred even says like in here I was worried about the electricity bill.
Which implies
Yeah.
that Alfred is paying the hydro bill for the Batcave.
Yeah, yeah. No no one can defeat Batman, but Batgirl was destroyed by Hollywood accounting.
Oh man.
Fuck.
The Flash will be our salvation.
I'm
Batgirl must die.
I don't think that was going to be a good movie, but much to our point about Jeremy Irons, I never get to see Brendan Fraser as just like a mustache twirling bad guy. And I'm like, at least give us that. Just show us the Fraser scenes.
At least the Fraser
No,
cut.
Seriously, I don't need to see the whole goddamn movie, but I at least want to see him, doing his thing. Come on.
especially as fucking like a weird villain as being Firefly, like that would have been like so fucking out there.
Yeah, I don't even know what bad guy he was supposed to
Yeah,
be. I just heard he was the big bad. So I'm like, fucking hey,
yeah,
give it to me. Let's
yeah.
see
It's
it.
some like D or E list villain. I think it was. It's like a fire based guy. I think he just goes on like set fires. I think, and he might have a
Perfect.
jetpack. I think, or some sort of flying device maybe. I think
Mhm.
maybe or something. Yeah. So he just
Yeah,
like
the
the
flying
fire based
whale.
guy. Yeah. But we got the Flash instead, and I did not see that. I've definitely not never
You
watching that
didn't
movie.
miss much.
No.
Yeah. So when Bruce is talking about that, he's saying he's gonna infiltrate the Brotherhood, and you realize like Bruce Wayne, like among all these like pasty white billionaires, is apparently the only guy in Gotham who tans. So
Yeah,
that was pretty funny watching. But then it cuts to Nostromos. Like so, Nostromos has like this planetarium in his like what do we call it? Like a temple, his palace, whatever it is. As you're mentioning, like this is where the final fight scene happens eventually. But like he shows like an economic collapse as a bad moon rising.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and he shows like this is after Lisa has like gone looking to see what's going on around Nostromos's place. So you have like Salty is out the window at this point. Like he's just gone from like this, psychologically manipulative cult leader, just pure extortion.
Right.
It
Which
was
is,
like
as we said, unnecessary. They're already dumb just to keep scamming them.
this guy was a mark till the bitter end, man. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah, he's got Lisa like tied up on like the one of the planets and basically like holding her hostage, and it's like sign the money over to me, and
yeah,
that sort of cuts to one of the funniest scenes of Nostromos, like caught up on the wire, and Batman's like swinging him around like a pinata.
yeah, yeah. Also, did you notice that they have the little control room where they're controlling the movements of the planets, and they have a series of clocks, uh, but they're it's supposed to be like London, Tokyo, Gotham, but they're all at like completely different times. Like Nostromo's does not understand how time works.
Wow.
This is how time zones
Why would
work.
he
You
even
just
need
make up a
that?
time.
Well, it's a planetarium, so I assume maybe it's
True.
something about the movement of the heavenly spheres and such. But I don't know. Yeah, it's like, come on, man. It's pretty easy
like
to
like
just do
like at
clocks
like
in the
at my
same
job
position.
like at my job it kind of makes sense that we have like those clocks 'cause I deal with like the West Coast feeds and stuff, but like at a planetarium I don't see why they have like multiple time zone clocks.
I mean, I don't mind it, but also at least have the hour and minute
Yeah,
hands
yeah.
indicating not a crazy different time. It
At
reminds me
least
it's
have
that
yeah, at least have it
it's
set
that
up correctly.
yeah, it's like that George Carlin joke where he's like, it's 6:15 in New York, it's 8:42 in Baltimore.
Yeah, this leads to the final fight scene between Batman and the dreadful Lucas. I know
Bennett.
that when I looked at the production notes, like, yeah, Ben, I'm gonna shoot you between the balls. But I know that like in the production notes, Bruce, Tim, and like the animators were like very disappointed with this like layout. They thought the animation was like more or less crap. I mean, the episode itself was nothing to write home about, but I kind of see their point.
Yeah, I read that they, I guess, like got a different company than normal animated this one. So yeah, apparently it was just like, yeah, they just threw them under the bus.
It's like we were so enjoying this episode until the planetarium fight.
Yeah,
Yeah, it ends with Luke. So what happened with Lucas? He like kicked him out. Like they fight inside these like planets that are more or less like giant like Christmas ornaments.
Yeah,
right. Which then leads to the question, like, why, she's like tied up to Mars or whatever. Why didn't she just like back elbow out of it? It's like if these
Good
things are
point.
so incredibly fragile, it's like I feel like
because I
an adult person could just, smash their way out of that predicament.
well, I imagine she was probably like everyone else and probably assumed that they'd be solid instead of like very fragile like that. So probably didn't think of that. They're like, oh, I could have done that being out of here and just gone away like an hour ago. I was stuck up there
Right, right.
waiting for Batman to show up. Like fuck.
Yeah, yeah.
Like he's stuck in traffic in the hit in the Batmobile on the way there, and but he's just missed. Almost just like, oh, you should have been here by now.
That's true actually. Like you'd think he was trying to avoid Batman, but no, Nostromos absolutely wants Batman in the audience.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, he'd just be yelling out, "They're paper mache. Those planets are paper mache."
I swear I'm Arkham worthy.
That was the thing I was gonna say. Yeah, like this isn't like a super villain thing. It's just like he's barely a regular villain.
Oh, this
Yeah,
guy
well,
is just above Sewer King, man.
I kind of like that, and I think that, as I've said, I would, with James Gunn being the guy taking over for DC, I would not be surprised if this is the main villain in the next thing. Like that seems to be his jam, is just resurrecting the most obscure shit of all time, which can be kind of fun. But yeah, we might get a little Nostromos in the next Batman. Who knows?
Well, everybody's been screaming for Brainiac for so many years. Like the original Brainiac, I'm pretty sure was like a circus performer, literally called Brainiac. So imagine like that's like the bad guy's like, look into my eyes, Superman.
Well,
This is like a mentalist at a circus. Yeah,
You're thinking
yeah,
of a number between 1 and 10?
I truly don't know anything about Superman, but isn't Brainiac like the kind of the butler from Krypton? Like he's like his Siri, right? Wasn't that the
I
origin? Like he was like the electronic helper of Superman's family on Krypton, and then he becomes evil. Like it's just Age of Ultron. Don't do it. Who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, that's
no,
a
yeah.
Brainiac. I know like there's like that version, and then there's like what if Siri, got control of nuke codes.
Ultron. It's been done.
Also,
Yeah,
Fuck
exactly, it's
Brainiac.
Ultron.
yeah, basically,
Fuck
yeah.
Brainiac, dude. But no, but I mean, yeah, like it is funny watching this and then, realizing that this version of Batman is supposed to be the same guy from Justice League, the Justice League cartoons and stuff like that, where you're like, oh, they have this very street level kind of guy who's, whatever, like levitating with a fishing line attached to him and breaking glass with a sonic ray and shit like that. And then in 5 short years, it's like, no, we are battling the entire force of space or whatever. You're
Yeah.
like, okay, I
The
prefer
range
this.
between Nostromos and Darkseid is a frickin' canyon.
Right. And I honestly prefer this. I like just him just dealing with like, idiotic goons like this, but that's just me.
Even Batman has Tuesdays.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I
Yeah.
imagine that's probably why like Batman and Spider-Man are probably the were always like the more like popular ones, yeah, because they were just dealing with street level folks for the most part instead of being like the crazy aliens or whatever else up until recently, really. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah,
So
but
one of
yeah,
the
go
one of the
ahead.
giant planets, they roll and it crushes Nostromos, like, Indiana Jones getting squashed by the boulder. And did he die or did they show him alive?
No, he lived because it was made out of dog shit. Like the planet just
Yeah,
crushed
Right.
around him.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a paper mache planet, yeah. So that's not going to crush him. Yeah, no, knock him down with the momentum, but definitely not crush him.
Yeah. And of course, Batman saves Lisa at the last second, not knowing she was Heather Locklear, but we'll certainly be learning that Friday night.
Yeah, well, that's the other funny thing is like, yeah, Batman saves her, but then she's still stuck with this moron who gave this guy $10 million. Like, if we're going with the kayfabe of Bruce Wayne and Batman are not the same person, then she's just left dating this idiot. You're like, okay, yeah, but you have to live with your dad because he's your dad. This bum, fucking kick him to the curb. He's an idiot, and then he refers to Shakespeare as the bard. Fuck you. Like,
Yeah,
I noticed that too. I'm like, oh, Bruce, are you really trying this hard to get laid?
yeah, like, you know, I don't know, but yeah. Anyway, just here's, and also it's not even like it's Julius Caesar. Like, come on, man, you're not doing anything for me by quoting a Shakespeare thing everyone had to read in 10th grade. You know what I mean? At least bust out like a Henry the Fourth or something. Let's
yeah,
go deep.
because because even like Jake Peralta pulls out that quote at one point to try and impress a lady in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. So so you know it's not
Yeah,
like a top tier, it's a not top tier line for a lady.
yeah, man. Hit me with some Love Labor's Lost or Titus Andronicus or one of the obscure ones.
A2 Nostromos.
Yeah, you just sound like a fucking idiot. But I guess that's like what this is supposed to convey, right? Is that Bruce is a very different guy than Batman, so he appears to
Yeah,
be, stupid or whatever. But like, it's
yeah.
not
So yeah,
doing
man.
anything for you in terms of bagging Heather Locklear,
I guess that's like
That
especially
the
if
kayfabe of
opportunity
she's
is
Batman, though.
long gone, Bruce.
yeah, especially if we're to believe that she knew about this from the beginning. Like, obviously, in the kayfabe of this relationship, she's the smarter person. So you're like,
Yeah,
okay, but I don't know. But I will say, at the end of the day, Bruce, I guess, he works out just like he's got the same body as Batman. So maybe, maybe that's the attraction. He's a himbo.
yeah, he definitely is. Or playing one at least, yeah.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. But yeah,
Uh,
that's more or less the episode. And yeah, we have a thing when we go to the ratings, Revers. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it, but my rating for this, I mean, other than a 2 out of 5, this is definitely a guano award episode.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people like hating on this one, and I think that the premise of it is great. It's just the writing and the execution of it. And I think it might be my reaction to it is obviously somewhat, painted by modernity, like just where it's literally Batman is literally caping for rich people, like, whatever.
Yeah, it's funny
But
for all the wrong reasons, but also like these people deserve to lose their money.
yeah, exactly. But that said, just because I was coming on the podcast today, it's the first time I've watched Batman the Animated Series in probably 20 years, so I wanted to like it. So my rating is probably skewed a little bit, higher than it probably should be. If I was sitting there watching all of them in a row, then I'm sure I'd be pretty down on this one. But I was watching it last night at
So,
3 in the
what
morning
would
when I
you?
got done driving home from Florida. I was like, oh yeah, Batman.
So what would you give this episode out of five bad cults?
Man, I'll put it right in the middle. I'll go 2.5.
2.5, yeah. Yeah, I think that's about where I landed with it too. Like, it's not super bad that it gets any lower, but yeah, it definitely doesn't deserve anything higher than a 2.5 because yeah, it's like a very bad like regular villain. Like it shouldn't have been like Batman worthy, but of course like we barely saw Batman in it. So it's but yeah, Batman shouldn't have been stopping rich people, well, stupid rich people from getting robbed.
Yeah.
So any last words on this episode before we get out of here, or is that it?
Men at sometimes are the masters of their fate. The fault, dear Brutus, is not in our stars, but in ourselves, the underlings. That's the bard, y'all.
The Bard Shakespeare.
Yeah, but Bruce spells it D-A Bard. Da Bard.
Yeah, that's
The
the
Bard.
bard. Yeah, he's from
The
Chicago.
Bard.
The Bears, the Bard,
The Bard.
dogs, the Bard.
All right, everybody. That is the episode for this week. Thank you everyone for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman the Animated Series. Next week's episode will be Feet of Clay, parts 1 and 2. Thanks for joining us, Wivers. Where can we find you on the internet?
You can check out my podcast. It's called The Goods from the Woods. It comes out every week on all of the familiar podcast places, and you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Rivers Langley. And I think that's the only thing I've got to plug.
You can follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast, and we are on YouTube now. You can follow us there at youtube.com at Beyond the Backcast. Hey, you can check us out there at rate, review, subscribe if you haven't already, or do that on wherever you find your podcasts. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Zaddy, and I also run the Facebook page Beyond Batcast with Adam.
All right, Eddie, you can follow me at Stump Chumpin on Instagram, and with looks like X-Men '97 will be finishing up like at like next week sometime. So like next couple weeks, so I'll probably do like an X-Men '97 episode on the other podcast I do, the Multiverse on Marvel. So check that out wherever you listen to podcasts. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave, and also thanks Rivers for joining us this week to talk about Batman the Animated Series. Goodbye, good chums. Kapow.